Night and day, feel the waves, the cool summer breeze. It's your holiday. Let us dance all night to the morning light. Come on, move your feet. Let us dance all night, shake your body left to right, celebrate life. Let us dance. Night and day, no time to waste. Come out and play. It's your holiday. Night and day, feel the waves, the cool summer breeze. It's your holiday. Let us dance all night to the morning light. Come on, move your feet. Let us dance all night, shake your body left to right, celebrate life.
Gentlemen, welcome back. We're back again with another fantastic match for the Marmoris Rainbow Open. And guess what? You got the breakfast cast again. You got me, Solar Pancake, with Toast. How we doing today, Toast?
Doing great. Excited to get the breakfast bunch back together. You know how it is. Exciting match here. We have one of the Marmoris teams, Marmoris Siren, going up against SQUAK Esports today. This is going to be in our Twilight division, so mostly gold player, or not, I'm sorry, not gold, diamond players. So it should be a good match today.
Yeah, should be a really good match. Right now, SQUAK coming into the match sitting at 2-1, Siren sitting at a 1-2. So kind of upper end of the division towards kind of the middle of the pack right now in our Swiss rounds. So there's a lot at stake here. Teams could go into a 50-50 going into halfway through here. The really notable thing is that both of these teams lost to Deja Brew, who's our #1 seed right now. Siren got 3-0'd, and SQUAK barely squawked by, you could say, with a 3-2 win. So right now, SQUAK is kind of looking like the favorites in this match, Toast.
Yeah, definitely. But I think you can't underestimate the mental side of this coming from Siren. They're 1-2 right now. This is the chance to go 2-2. Every single game in the Swiss style matters a lot because that seeding come playoff time is going to be huge. The lower seed you are, the higher chance you are going to be going up against that 1 seed. And as we talked about, that's not something you want to be doing right now.
Yeah, definitely not something that you want to be doing. On the side of Siren, we're talking about, it's all about that mental game, and their team fun fact, they've got a combined IQ of 0. So hopefully they can overcome that and, really make a big stretch into this mental game that you were talking about. But as we get ready to go into this, it looks like we're going to be starting off on Busan. Now, Busan's got several different control points, obviously, being a control map, but in each of those map types there, very different types of strategies can be used. On downtown, you see a lot of dive. On the mega base, you see a lot of brawl. So it's going to be a real big battle of styles here.
100%, and I talked about this last week when I was casting with Glitch, but Busan's a really good starting map because it's going to help you get a feel for how each of these teams likes to play. If they're going to stick to something like a brawl on a point like Shrine, where it's not quite as advantageous, or if they want to go for the dive and opt into that on downtown and Shrine. So it should give you a really good perspective onto how these teams are going to be playing the rest of this match.
Yeah, a lot of really good perspectives. See if Siren can pull off this upset, even out the playing field a little bit here in our Twilight division. It looks like we are almost ready to jump into the match, and I can't wait. I am so excited to be back in the booth, excited to be casting these games. And just as a reminder to everybody, the whole kind of backing of this whole tournament is around the Attic Youth Center. There is a fundraising goal for $2,500 to the Attic Youth Center. If you don't know, their mission at the Attic Youth Center is to create opportunities for those of the LGBTQ community, especially the youth in that community, to develop into healthy, independent adults within a safe, supportive community. So if you have any spare funds, go ahead, support that. That would be fantastic. That's what we're all here for. That's what we're all about.
And if you want to learn more, just in Twitch chat, type in OK2BU. It should also be in the name of the stream. That'll give you more information and it'll give you get you a link right to their site.
Yeah, and it looks like I lied a little bit, and we're actually going to be going into Nepal here, Toast. And so Nepal, maybe a little bit less variation than we were talking about with Busan. Really dive-heavy map compositions, that's the word I'm looking for. Brawl heavy compositions are going to be featured here, and it looks like we're going to be starting out on my brain completely blanked on
Shrine.
this point.
We're going to be starting out on Shrine.
It is Shrine. Sorry, one of my teammates, I'm going to call him out, Rob. I'm looking at you. He just calls it elephants all the time. So all I can think about every time I see this map is elephants. So
yeah, and Shrine, or elephants as Rob might call it, is the map that is probably best out of the three for the dive style, as we are going to be seeing, it looks like, Siren come out on that Tracer Sombra. A little bit of a variation. They're going to be coming out on the Diva, whereas SQUAK is going to be coming out on a pretty traditional Brawl, except for the fact that they're going to be playing Pong and Toxic Circles on that Pharmacy.
Yeah, Pong and Toxic Circles. On that Pharmacy, you really have to make sure when you're on this dive, you really have to decide, are we going to commit to taking out the Pharah in the sky, or are we going to commit to taking out everybody else on the ground and then dealing with the Pharah afterwards? So it's going to be really interesting to see how they come out here. And the teams, we are going to see exactly what's going to happen here, get a good look, and teams are getting set up for this position here, and it's going to be a matter of really who's going to be able to take control of this point, and some easy damage coming out from the side of Pong onto that Tracer of Lexapro, and this is going to be interesting to see how they're going to want to break through this far defense.
Now, that pick starting off on Toxic Circles on the Mercy is incredibly important. They don't have much to deal with the Pharah Mercy, so getting that pick early is pivotal for them in winning this fight.
Yeah, very pivotal. They get the pick onto Ruck. Port's going to find Lexapro. Lexapro's going to find a pick, but that's not going to be enough. That res is going to be available for Toxic Circles, I believe. I didn't see it come out yet, but they're going to opt to just let Annie respawn here. They're going to get ready for this re-engage here. And when you're going up against this Pharah, Toast, how do you really break into a point where this Pharah is just able to rain down all this poke damage?
Well, to be honest with you, like what was alluded to earlier, you have to kill this Mercy. You have the Sombra, you have the Tracer. This is a really easy dive target. She's going to be sticking on the Mercy for the most part, as we see a hack coming out on the casting immediately, and that's a pick starting off for Siren.
Yeah, and Annie's gonna fall. Siren's getting real close. Keto falling extremely low, but the pick isn't gonna come through. Ruck Attack falling to half health. Pong is gonna find Lexapro, and Siren, they're not able to clean any of this up. Annie's gonna be able to be rezzed and come back into the fight. The hack comes out, but no follow-up is available, unfortunately. And this Pharah is just raining down so much death. The hack comes out. There's no follow-up. He has to reload. Maybe a crucial error and a little bit of miscommunication here from the side of Siren. They have to find a way to break into this Mercy. Fight's gonna break out on the point once more. Oh my goodness, and Annie just domes Keetle, and that might be the end of that push. Pong with the barrage, and that's gonna clean it up here. And Siren's looking to be down about 60%, probably about 65 before they can retouch.
Yeah, Siren, as we are going to be seeing some swamps out, is looking really disjointed right now, and that's part of the reason I prefer the Monkey in this dive comp. Not that they're going to be sticking on it, but with this Diva, it's so hard to coordinate your dives. Coming up on the self-destruct and the nano boost, along with the pulse bomb, this fight should be a fight win for them just purely off of ultimates if they engage well here.
If they engage well, that's exactly the key here. What ultimates can they use and get it out? The Pulse Bomb is out. It's not going to find anything from Lexapro here. And the team on the side of SQUAK is holding strong. But as I say that, Annie goes ahead and falls. Port falls as well. And this may be exactly what Siren need to break onto this point. Pong is going to fall. And the Valk comes out from Toxic Circles. They aren't able to get out, though. And that's going to be the flip. But 96% is a tall order to be able to come back from.
100%, especially when you look at the ultimates that SQUAK is going to be coming up on. They have the Annihilation, they're going to have the Coalescence. Those two are both incredibly strong ultimates, and you never know who might die to a Deadeye. It happens quite frequently. Still having a self-destruct and Deadeye of their own here is Siren. Using these ultimates early is going to win them this fight. That's the only way you can do it with an ultimate disadvantage here.
They have to go early. They have to go fast here. The Nemesis form is going to come out with the Annihilation. Deadeye's going to be popped as well as Cold. This is a 3-ult engagement here from the side of SQUAK. They're just zoning Siren off of the point. And now the recontest comes in. Siren's going to try to hold on to this a little longer, and they can't give this up for free. Lexapro is going to find the Moira on the side of SQUAK, but the flip comes through. What a tragic miscount here from the side of Siren. They're going to have to fight this down a man, and now the Ana is gone as well. Pong is finding two. The DPS DPS on the side of SQUAK are carrying and making sure that this fight is going to be won, and now it's just a little bit of cleanup. The Lucio can't find his legs, probably in a stew somewhere, and now the D.Va doing her best, and that's going to probably be it for this first point here on Nepal. A late touch from the Moira, but that's going to be it, and SQUAK are going to take it. A pretty convincing win here with the Pharah Mercy.
100%. Only 31, not super close on the side of Siren. They looked kind of lost. They didn't really have a good direction, as we are going to be going into Sanctum. This is another map where you can choose to play the Pharah if you want. If SQUAK decides to go that way, which it looks like they will be, Siren needs to be really careful that they either kill the Pharah early or just kill everybody else. You can just choose to ignore the Pharah, especially on a map like Sanctum, where she's not the strongest character in the world, but she's just playable. And as it looks right now, Siren's going to be actually mirroring the Pharah. What do you take of this, Solar?
Oh my goodness, not only mirroring the Pharah, but they're actually opting into... Oh, wait, they Echo, they're swapping to the Echo. So they did give us a little bit of a bait here. Echo being known to give Pharah a little bit of trouble in the air, and with that pocket here from Layla, she can give all of that damage boost to the Echo, get those sticky bombs and that focusing beam down, get the Pharah maybe out of commission a little bit, and the Zarya pick from Port, maybe just wanting to pressure Ruck attack a little bit more as we just go into a poke. And there it is, the skill orb kill onto Keto. This is exactly what Siren did not want to happen. An early pick. They need to be pressing this. They need to find a way to either get this res or find a pick of their own. Sticky bombs are going to come out. Nothing is going to be found right now, and it's just a poke war. Right now, Siren's going to cap the point, but Layla's going to fall in the meantime. And the sticky bombs come out, and that's going to be a quick flip here for the side of SQUAK. A good re-engage from them.
Definitely a really strong re-engage. You know, they lose their Moira early on, as we are going to see a D.Va demect here. Rock Addict right now doesn't seem to know what their goal is, and to be honest with you, I don't know what they're trying to do either. Are you trying to peel for your backline here? Are you trying to put pressure on the front line? Are you trying to go for a dive? There's a lot of things you can be doing on D.Va, and right now it looks like they are just torn between which one to do.
Yeah, they're torn between which one to do. The focus between the peel, going for the Pharah, avoiding the Zarya, who, might I add, is almost at a grab after that first encounter here. And this is going to be dangerous. Ruck Attack is sitting without a mech right now. A flank here from Keetle on the side. Port's going to get that, and that is a dangerous stagger here for Siren. They're going to be without their tank for another few seconds here, and they're just going to have to poke and sit at this choke right now. And he's actually going to mirror the Zarya.
They're going to mirror the Zarya, but you have to wonder, is it too little too late? I mean, you look at the ultimates that SQUAK has right now, and they have some huge combos as well as just strong ultimates across the board. You have ultimates if you're Siren, but you are at a significant disadvantage, especially with Lexapro going down that early.
Oh, and what an amazing pick by Annie there. That is exactly what you need if you're on the side of SQUAK. There is some pressure being thrown over to the point right now, but the Graviton Dragon combo, maybe this is where it's going to come out. It does. Annie's going to fall for it, and the Dragon's not going to find a whole lot here. This is a great start for Siren, and as I say that, Pong is going to find Ruck with that barrage. Annie's going to get res, and this is looking like a strong hold from the side of SQUAK here, and the duplication even comes out. I'm not too sure about that one, Tosa. It may have been a little bit of a panic here as they only have 85 seconds and they're staggering out. The High Noon comes out, and as I say that, Lexapro and Keetle get picks on their own, and Pong is falling desperately low, but the boop from Port finds Keetle, and now it's just a 2v2 onto the point. The Mercy, the beam can't quite reach. Port's trying his very best, but Ruck Attack is going to take it there, and Siren pulling out a very scrappy fight here.
Very scrappy. Like you said, that duplicate's invested. I think if they just go for a quick regroup, it's likely better. SQUAK had to use 5 ultimates that fight. They only have the Coalescence left. You're coming up on a grab of your own for Siren. This should be a really big grab just based off of how SQUAK has been playing together. But these DPS for Siren have been absolutely taking over.
They've been taken over. The grab comes out from Ruck, but there's not a whole lot of follow-up. The Soldier can't get the angle as the grab was in there, but as I say that, Keetle finds one, he finds 2, and that's exactly what Siren need. A great aggressive start here from the side of Siren to build up some more point percentage, and now you're looking at it, and can the Coalescence make the difference? That's really the only ultimate we have on board. Maybe a grab coming up.
Yeah, that Coalescence could actually be pivotal in building up that grab. It's going to allow Zarya to play a lot more aggressively. As we are going to see, they're going to forfeit the high ground here and just try and fight the right side of point.
Now they're going to fight the right side of point. Lexapro's going to have to use that recall early. Here comes the coalescence we talked about. Putting pressure, allowing that Zarya to move in. The lamp comes out. It's going to save them for a moment. And the SQUAK is going to find the pick onto Ruck. That is exactly what you don't want to have happen. Your Zarya left alone on the point. Pong is just able to burst down that Baptiste. And now this is just a scramble from the side of Siren. There's a Graviton Surge on the other side. And now it's just Keto left on the point. He falls. And that, unfortunately, the Grav is going to hold the ball in place. And that is going to be an easy take here for the side of SQUAK. Looked a little bit shaky after that first capture point from Siren, but they're able to bring it back together pretty cleanly.
Yeah, SQUAK towards the end there, like you said, had a bit of trouble closing out fights. They would get an early lead, but then, like I mentioned earlier, those DPS for Siren would make a hero play and kind of win that fight for them. Overall, though, SQUAK did look like just a more coordinated team. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the Diva in this meta right now, and I think that is a big reason why Siren was suffering, is just Rook Addict just looked like they were struggling on how to balance all those responsibilities that a Diva has. And as a result, that team wasn't really super synergized.
Yeah, not super synergized, but we're going to have to see if they're able to synergize a little bit more as we get ready for our next map. We're going to go to a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Celebrate life.
right, welcome back. Thanks so much for bearing with us through the wonderful ad breaks of Twitch, but we are back and we're ready to go to our next map. And Toast, we're going to Midtown.
Yeah, Midtown, a favorite of mine. We have some great experiences on this map. It'll be interesting to see what Siren's plan is here. Midtown's a map where you can get away with doing a lot of things. Obviously, if you're playing dive well, dive is still great for you to do, or you can always go for more of a brawl style. It really opts into something like a sim A brawl potentially, especially on first point. Or you could get a little crazy, a little bit silly, and maybe pop out like an Orisa or something. What do you think that Siren's got cooked up here?
Oh, man, I'm not sure about Siren, but on the side of SQUAK, they chose to run that Pharah exclusively. Do you think we see any Pharah here? Do they think maybe we switch up a little bit of Sim? I mean, on first point here, the Pharah can work out. The skybox is a little bit lower than a lot of the other maps, so it's definitely not ideal, but I unfortunately have seen Pharah run on this map and work to some success.
I'd be a little bit surprised to see the Pharah come out here. Like you said, first point, it's not horrible, especially with that huge choke under the bridge. But again, like you said, skybox isn't too high, and with the sightlines, I think it makes more sense to just play a hit scan or, something like a Hanzo or a Sim where you're able to either cross that, giant sightline or just utilize it yourself. I would be very surprised to see them come out with a Pharah, but I think that they will likely stick to this brawl style. We saw that they were very comfortable with both the Ram and the Zarya out on Nepal, so I wouldn't be surprised to see either of them.
Yeah, some brawl coming out. And on the side of Siren, like you were talking about, it would be fantastic if we could see maybe a little bit of a switch up. They looked like they weren't really synced. Maybe that was a little bit to deal with not playing against a Pharah before. That can disrupt communication really easily. But we were talking about it a little bit during the break, and we really want to see them move away from this D.Va if possible to maybe a tank that can provide a little bit more utility and engagement here for the side of Siren.
No, I don't think D.Va's a bad pick. I think it's just a hard pick to get away with. And Siren, unfortunately, weren't able to get away with it there. This is a map where, personally, I haven't seen a lot of D.Va be played. She's one of the, less popular tanks on Midtown. So I'm interested to see what they're going to come out with here. But yeah, I think moving away from the D.Va would be a smart thing. If you want to stick to this dive style, move towards the Monkey. I think he's a much more consistent and, quite honestly, easier pick for this dive.
Yeah, definitely a little bit easier to coordinate those dives like you were kind of talking about with that first map, being able to say, I'm going here, this is what we're doing. But it looks like as we're taking a look at the teams here, it looks like we're going to be coming up against a little bit differing styles, kind of similar, but they both want to run that Ramatra, really strong frontline presence, able to get some good poke damage, and then when people get in too close, you're able to punch them. But if we take a look at the side of Siren here, they're opting on the offense to go for kind of a more double sniper look with the Ashe Hanzo.
And again, like we were talking about earlier, I think double hit scan can work on first point. It's a really long sight line. What I would be worried about is there's really not much to help Ramatra when he's brawling. You have the storm arrows from Hanzo, but you're really banking on the fact that one of your hit scan characters gets an opening pick here.
Yeah, we have to find those opening picks, and we're going to see if the side of Siren is able to find those right now. As we take a look from Keetle here as they start pushing forward, this is the moment. This is what Siren needs to do. He's got a clear shot, and they're not able to connect right now, but the space is being taken. Dynamite's going to be thrown out, and that's going to force away that crucial Reaper Wraith. And so now they have an opening if they can find that pick onto that Reaper, but it looks like right now we're just in a little bit of a war, and as I say that, Lexapro does exactly what Siren needed to do and finds the pick onto the Moira, and this is going to open it up as we can see Siren starts moving in, but Ruck is going to fall, and that engagement there with your Ramatra is gone. Sapphire is going to be able to find that pick onto Ani, and that is going to open it up even more. They have the people advantage here. They have the players. They need to make a move here, but this Ramatra is causing so much disruption here that it's making it hard to move in.
Yeah, when you lose your tank that early, sure, you trade players, but ultimately you really don't have anything to take advantage of that because you have nothing to take your space with. As we see a huge opening pick once again from Lexapro onto Pong.
Oh my goodness, he is finding those lottery shots with the Hanzo, and as we can see here, Ani is used that Wraith form. He's going to try to come from the side just like all Reaper mains should, as we all know and love, and now it's between him and Lexapro. Can the logs be found here? And right now Ani's, I thought he was going to not take the fight, but he does take it in the end and takes down down the Shimada and takes him out. But Ani fallen really low, and from the side of SQUAK, they're just holding this room. They're not allowing any presence to be taken here. Bob gets thrown out, not able to sit on the point, unfortunately, a little bit behind it, and that Annihilation's gonna come out here from the side of SQUAK, and that is going to be the end of this push here.
To be honest with you, I think Siren's okay losing that. They invest the Bob and they get the Annihilation out, so it should be a 4v4 ultimate battle coming up. And personally, I would take that trade, as we are going to be seeing the swap onto the Tracer, but a late pick onto Ruck Attack is not great.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see if you are the tank player. Reaper with shotguns coming straight into your face. That's not what you want at all. And now, like you were saying, we've got these 4 ultimates versus 4 ultimates. And if you're looking from the defensive side, this is going to allow Pong so many angles to be able to find shots. This is going to be up to Lexapro to be able to shut him down. Immortality Field's got to be clutch. There's just so much that has to happen here. It's going to depend on which ultimates are going to find the value. There is the Death Blossom. He's not going to be able to find anything. That block from Ruck is going to take that. But now, oh my goodness, the punches, just the pure punches from Port is all that it's going to need. They're even going to invest the Annihilation from the side of Siren, and that is a great fight win for SQUAK, but they did have to use 3 ultimates in it.
They did have to use 3 ults, but 2 ultimates traded out for Siren is pretty standard trade for a fight win. Ultimately, Siren just using ultimates too slowly. They're letting SQUAK just take the initiative here, and that's making all the difference. As we saw Port come in with that Kitsune rush and get 2 picks in the backline without an Annihilation, as he's coming up on another one now.
Yeah, he's almost at another one, and now this is the kicker. Can Lexapro's Dragon find a pick here? And unfortunately, Port just finds the headshot. Pong gonna use that rail shot there and take out Layla. And now, 30 seconds left on the clock, 2 picks. Hopefully no other staggers here from Siren. They're looking for it, and they're not gonna be able to find it. But this is coming into last fight territory, and as I say that, Ruck is in such a bad position. Ruck needs to get back to his healers. Pulse Bomb comes out. It is not able to find anything, and the Tracer's gonna fall at the same time. 18 seconds, Toast, and this is looking dire. The Annihilation on for Port here, and SQUAK able to hold down this choke. Nothing is getting through here. They are an impenetrable wall right now, and this is going to be up to the Lucio of Layla to touch the point. They're able to get it here, but now, what can they find with it? The Annihilation comes out. It's going to start forcing people to take angles, damage, get away from it, but in the meantime, the rest of the team is falling. It's doing its job, but forcing people into positions they don't want to be in, and this is going to be a solid cleanup here for the side of SQUAK.
Yeah, tough round, as we are going to be seeing a few more trickle onto the point. Really rough coming in from Siren. They would get an ultimate lead, or, you know, they'd get a good pick coming in from someone like Lexapro, and then they just play too slowly afterwards. They're not able to capitalize on it, and Midtown especially, the defender spawn is not that far off. So that respawn advantage that you typically see first point of maps isn't as strong as it is normally. So when you get an opening pick, you really have to press the issue, and Siren really just wasn't. They were content kind of just taking that poke war.
They're a little content taking that poke war like we were talking about, and now, as we look to see what they decide to do on their defense as we await for it, I'm worried that if they decide to go with this double sniper, the Hanzo Ash setup again, that from the side of SQUAK, they're just going to be able to run it down. They don't have anything to stop that rush to get to them.
I think that's likely what we're going to see out of SQUAK here, though I will say I think the double hit scan works a lot better on defense because you don't have to take space, you're just holding it. But like you said, SQUAK, since they full held, are in a position to just kind of force the fight to point. There's plenty of rotations you can take, as it looks like they are going to be taking out through the back right door. That's going to minimize poke damage a lot. They're going to be able to get to point really quickly. And with this Junker Queen Moira composition that they're running, it's going to be really hard for Siren to win the fight on point with what they're playing.
Yeah, this would be an extremely hard take to be able to stop them on point. Junker Queen able to sustain. Reaper's got that life steal with that Lucio speed boost. They're able to just run wherever they want. So now the question is, can Keetle and Lexapro find those picks that they need? And the answer is going to come to us soon as we see SQUAK getting ready to attack this point. Here comes the initiation with that speed boost, and they're going to run right onto that Ramatra. They're forcing him into Nemesis form, backing it up, and like we talked about, just backing him into the point, and Ketel's gonna fall immediately. Toxic is going to fall as well, but now Port is going to get another pick, and that's 2 down for Siren. This is not looking good if they're hoping to hold on to this point. The battle between Pong and Lexapro is coming back and forth, back and forth. Ketel is going to switch to a Tracer to try to get back in touch and help out the side of Siren, but this is already looking dire. The point is almost capped. They almost C9 it right there. The Mercy's gonna fall, and that's gonna be it. A quick fight win here for SQUAK, and they're gonna take Midtown resoundingly, Toast.
Yeah, really good attack there from SQUAK. Like we were talking about beforehand, when you have point right there and you full held the enemy team, it's really easy to just run it through that right corridor that we were talking about and just take the fight straight on point. And when that fight gets chaotic, that Junker Queen Reaper is going to be doing that much more, whereas the Hanzo Ashe might struggle a little bit, you know, going through the sea of bodies. So really strong attack from SQUAK, and Siren, well, I don't think they played that horribly on their defense. Ultimately didn't matter since they had such a weak attack on their side.
Yeah, weak attack leading to the side of SQUAK, only needing that 33%, and they were able to take that in a flash. And speaking of flashes, we will be right back as we head to another quick break. Don't go anywhere. And we are back. Thank you again for your patience during that break. We're back and we're at the beautiful, beautiful Circuit Royale. Oh, this map is gorgeous. And you know what? There are a lot of beautiful shots that happen on this map with Widows, Hanzos, so many snipers that can be played here. And we're probably going to be seeing some Sigma too, Toast.
Yeah, again, would be a little bit surprising to not see the Sigma. Circuit has always been a map that kind of just has its own meta composition, right? You're going to play the Sigma, you're going to play probably the Widow Hanzo. We see sometimes a Sojourn or an Ashe come out instead. But okay, I was completely wrong. So we're actually going to be seeing SQUAK, at least in spawn right now, come out with Ball, Genji, Tracer. How much do you want to bet they swap off of this here?
Yeah. There's no way they come out on this, right? Right.
If they do, I think this is going to be a really interesting map. I'll leave it at that. They are playing. I'm sorry. They are playing the Moira Kiriko, which is an interesting backline. You don't see it too frequently, but the idea of it is it's really hard to dive that, either support. So interesting choice to do it on a map where I think dive is probably at its weakest. But I think this will be an interesting map, as we are going to see a switch over to Monkey actually from Port. So they are going to stick to the dive here.
Yeah, they really want to go for this dive. They know that the snipers are going to be holding in the back here. They want to be able to take that distance, take that space, and get right up in their face. And we'll see if the side of SQUAK is able to do that. Early Dynamite's going to come out, but Suzu's going to be used early. And so none of that ult charge is going to go over to the side of Keedle. And here comes the dive initiation. The coach gun boops him back, but the Tracer's in. But Port falls extremely low, and Ruck is going to take him out. Keedle's going to find one. In the meantime, Ani is going to find two. Both of the supports are down for Siren, and this is disastrous. What started out as amazing, Ani has turned into 4 kills. 3 kills, excuse me, but still they are going on a rampage right now. This is absolutely crazy, and on the back of that Genji play, SQUAK is going to take this first corner here.
So I think I figured out why they're playing the dive here. Ani's Genji looking absolutely insane after a single fight. Already 50% to a Dragon Blade here. That is the highest ultimate percentage out of anybody in the lobby at the moment, as they just push forward and kill Lexapro.
Yeah, Lexapro and Ruck both fall, and that's going to be first point taken, and there's a 5-minute time bank on the clock here for the side of SQUAK. They are making sure that this dive is working to perfection, and like you talked about before, there are no ultimates that are even close to Ani right now on this Genji. The closest is on their own team. The side of Siren is not close to any ultimates because they've just been run down this entire time. We'll see if they're going to be able to hold off this dive aggression here. Here comes the jump in, but that's going to be Port falling extremely early. Pong going to fall as well, and this might be exactly what Siren need to maybe find some stability here on this point.
Yeah, definitely a crucial fight win here for Siren, as Ani is going to be going down last. But we are coming up on a lot of ults on behalf of SQUAK here. Really only the Gravitic Flux for Siren here. You're going to get the window, probably the Bob in the middle of the fight, but is it going to matter? I think the second point is so strong for defenders because of the high ground, and when you're playing dive, the high ground really means nothing.
High ground means nothing, and it's really going to come down to Ani getting this blade off and finding picks before anything can happen. But as I say that, Pong falls, but Ani's going to find the comeback. There's the Bob that you talked about here. Going to be thrown out, defending that point a little bit. Winston Bubble's going to block a little bit of that damage for now, but it's not going to stay there forever. The Bob is still continuing to do pressure, and oh my goodness, Ani just walks in front of Keedle and takes the shot right back to their head. There's nothing Keedle can do about that. The Flux comes out as well. There's so many ultimates being thrown out. Kitsune rush, Cole Pulse Bomb! Pulse Bomb finds nothing. SQUAK is investing everything they have into this, and both support ults are still online here for the side of Siren. They should be able to hold off this aggression, and they're going to back up to this doorway, reset a little bit, and now the fight's going to continue. Window's going to come out. This is exactly what you want to see. They want to find these picks, but Lila's going to fall. The Genji comes out. The Blade is out. They find two. That is going to be a team kill almost here for the side of SQUAK, and they're going to roll into third point here with a solid 4 minutes on the time bank.
I mean, SQUAK doing an absolutely amazing job supporting Ani right now. This is their carry, and they know it. They are playing very aggressive between Pong and Port. We see Port almost playing like a 2018 Winston, where you're low-key feeling like just feeding a little bit, but it doesn't matter because your DPS are killing everyone anyway. We already see the Primal Rage here coming out for SQUAK. Only a Dragon for Siren. This will be an interesting fight. It should get chaotic if you let SQUAK engage first, which they are going to be doing here.
Yep, here comes the engage. Port's going to jump in, trying to burn down that Ramattra as he's extremely low. Going to use that Primal Rage. He's going to be able to survive this time as compared to the other times, whereas you mentioned he was just feeding to get that space for his supports and his DPS. And now he's falling a little low, but able to stabilize back onto the point here, and they're taking so much space. There is nowhere for the side of Siren to run. The Dragon's going to be pulled out, and it's going to find Port, so this might be the start that they need. Ani's falling very low. The recall has to come out from the Tracer on the side of SQUAK, and now there's not a lot of kills coming through. The side of Siren really need to focus in and find these targets that they want to kill, but at the time it seems that they have fiended off, and now from the side of SQUAK, they're off that monkey. They want to go to the Zarya.
Now, Siren finally able to stabilize here. They're getting a lot of ultimates here where they're forcing a swap from their opponents, as we are going to see Ani get another pick on the Lexapro here. It doesn't matter. He's going to be traded out by Rocket Attic with the Annihilation, though. An ultimate invested, traded out with the Coalescence, as Toxic Circles falls very low.
You know, and if you're on the side of SQUAK here, seeing that Annihilation come out is fantastic because you're coming up on the Blade, you're coming up on the Kitsune Rush, you're coming up on the Pulse Bomb. There's nothing there to really stabilize against that except for the Rally, and now the Window. Here, as I said, the Rally comes out, but they're burning it down so fast. We'll see if they're able to stop this bleeding. Lila's gonna fall. All that extra armor is gone. Lexapro's gonna fall. Hanzo is off of the table, and now from the side of SQUAK, they're just running over the opposition in Siren. There is no distress call coming out from Siren. They need to do something here to stabilize. They're gonna touch the point a little bit here. Lila's gonna come back on this break. Here comes the Blade like we were talking about, and this is just cleanup. This is just easy work for Ani here. They're gonna get the last remnants of Siren off of the cart here. The ball's gonna come back and maybe be able to stall out for a little bit longer. The Kiriko's there to maybe sustain, but that teleport is gone, and Ani's looking for that pick, as they rightfully should. The grab is pulled out. Maybe a little bit of cheekiness there just to get that point capped, but it's gonna work out for the side of SQUAK, and they've got 2 minutes in the time bank, and that is astounding for a map like Circuit Royale, where you constantly see it getting down to the final seconds or at most a minute normally.
Especially on that third point, and we did see a little bit of it. Siren was able to stabilize a bit, but they just, when they win that first fight, as soon as the second fight starts, if you notice, they push up way too far. They split the team. And when you're playing a dive comp, you want the enemy team to be split. There's really nothing better for you than having isolated targets across the fight. And that's exactly what Siren did, and that's what they gave SQUAK. So not a horrible hold, especially a good stall at the end there coming in from Siren, but just a little bit too aggressive when it's just not a good time for it.
And not a great time for it, but we'll see if they're able to maybe match this time bank a little bit and see what happens on the defense here. But as we're rolling through Circuit, getting ready for this match to get to its second movement here, Circuit Royale, based around F1 racing. Toast, if you had to choose a type of race to be in, you know, Formula One, NASCAR, like what are you going for?
I'm going Formula One, 100%.
Formula One.
In the recent years, my family's kind of gotten me into Formula One. I'm a big Formula One fan now. Personally, though, in a Formula One race, I wouldn't want LifeWeave run my team. So we are going to be seeing maybe a little bit of a toxic pick here coming in from Toxic Circles. It's in the name, not surprising. Maybe there could be an interesting strat cooked in here, though.
Yeah, it is very interesting to see what they want to use this for. Maybe pull the Genji out. Oh my goodness, Keto falls extremely low. But maybe that life group being used to pull back some of that aggression that we saw from Port and Ani when they get into trouble. Maybe stabilize a little bit, but that's about as far as that's going to go. We'll see how it plays out. But right now, they're just poking each other down. They're trying to find these picks. A lot of space given up here and going to allow Siren to move ahead. They've given up the high ground. They've opted to play down below, and that is going to be fatal as Lexapro is gonna find a head on his counterpart of Pong, and that's gonna open it up. This is exactly what Siren need to continue pushing forward. This corner is deceptively hard to get around though, but as I say that, Port is gonna fall to the rail of Keto, and that's exactly what Siren need. There's that life group we were talking about, pulling that Genji away, back up, let's reset a little bit.
Now, SQUAK playing a little bit too passive, as we are going to see immediately a pick coming out for Pong, but a little bit too passive, giving up a lot of space to Siren. We are going to see a recontest here following up on that pick, and Ani could potentially get a pick onto Layla here.
Can Ani find the success that they had earlier in the match here? We will see right now. They're forcing him back constantly right now. He's just putting so much pressure down that they back off. This single Genji, they have a little bit of PTSD from the attack from SQUAK here, but now this is going to be a re-engage as both teams are at full fighting force here. We've got a Coalescence versus a window right now, and that's going to be the key. The Genji spotted out, and Lexapro is going to take it down. Ani is no longer a threat, and now if you are on the side of Siren, you need to go. You need to push. They find another pick onto Toxic Circles, not able to get that tree down. No sustain there for the side of SQUAK, and that is going to be a solid cap here from the side of Siren. They're looking like they really want to keep making this a match here.
Really well played from Lexapro in particular there. They are able to punish Ani overcommitting and then get 2 more picks following up on that. And no ultimates to use on either side, so we are going to see a lot of ultimates this fight. Big fight win for Siren. They keep all of their ultimates coming up on all 5 here. There's going to be a lot of Qs pressed this fight. I'm very interested to see what's popped first. I would assume the overclock and the Coalescence here.
Yeah, and here is the Coalescence like you predicted here coming out. If Lively can hold back a little bit and hold that Transcendence for this Blade, that is what's most important here. Dragon comes out, Flux comes out. There's the Dragon, finds a pick. Kendall's going to invest the overclock as well. Like you said, there are so many Qs being pressed, but in the meantime, Kendall's going on a rampage in the backline. He's going to find 3, and that's exactly what you need if you are on the side of Siren. That's exactly what you need to bust this open and keep this time bank at least semi-close here.
Now that's a huge fight win for Siren. It can't be, overstated enough. SQUAK uses all of their ultimates that fight. Siren only uses 3. They're keeping both support ults here, as Layla does unfortunately go down. You still have the window here if you want to try and turn this fight.
Yeah, window can be used here. The monkey coming out from Port again. That's exactly what you want to see here. And that's the pick. Sapphire going to get that pick, but fall on their own as well. Lexapro's going to even it out. This fight is so scrappy. This can go either way. Ani's trying to make sure that this can be SQUAK's hold here, and that they are going to do it. Kendall's going to find one, but is that going to be enough from Keetle? That is what the question is. It's a 1v3. I don't think they can do it, unfortunately. Just a little bit too much to handle. And like we were talking about before on the attack of SQUAK, once the defenders have this high ground position, it's so hard to break through that if you are on the side of the attack. But the good news is they don't have a lot of spam damage to come from that high ground.
Definitely not a lot of spam damage, and they can take advantage of the sightline here, coming up on ultimates as well. I'd imagine Layla probably thinks Ani has a blade here, so I would reckon that she holds her Transcendence here, but she dies early anyways.
Oh, the reflect kill, unfortunately, killed by a teammate or by their own orb. Who knows what happened to her, but time will tell. In the meantime, SQUAK is cleaning up the rest of the team, and if you're Siren, you need to get out of here quick.
Now, after that very quick fight, we are going to see actually a big stockpile of ultimates for SQUAK. We are going to see Keto switch off of the Sojourn onto the Reaper. Ruck Attic is going to be switching over to the Monkey off of the Sigma. It looks like they're going to be switching over to a dive of their own here. Sapphire Siren staying on the Baptiste. I'm corrected immediately. They're going to be switching into a full dive with a Reaper instead of a Tracer now.
Yeah, something you don't see a whole lot on the Circuit Royale because you typically see those snipers. But when you're on the side of SQUAK and you have this dive, counter dive may be the answer here as they get set up. Keto coming on the edge. This is the time to engage. Here it is from Ruck. They get a pick onto the supports. Ani's gonna pop the blade, but is it gonna be enough? Both supports are down on both teams, and now it's just a matter of who can survive the attrition. And right now it's going back and forth. Ruck and Keetle are trying to find these picks. It's a 2v2 fight on the point. Of course, the defenders have a little bit of spawn advantage, and the Primal's going to be popped by Port to make sure that Keetle is going to go down. Ruck needs to die and get out right now so they don't get staggered and their team can have another fight. Only 1 minute left on the clock here for the side of Siren.
Now, really good opening for Siren there. The difference between these two teams, though, is SQUAK immediately counterdives the supports on Siren, and while the supports died early for SQUAK, they're less diveable supports. They're going to be able to get back faster, and when they do get back, it's going to be a lot harder to clean them up. So really strong counter dive immediately coming in from SQUAK wins them that fight.
Keetle being pressured out by this Genji here. Can they survive here? It looks like they might survive, but the rest of their team isn't going to. There needs to be something here. Get the pit chief on the phone, call him up, figure out what we need to do to survive here. And as these supports from Siren are backing up, they need to get out of here so they don't get staggered out. And because of that, they have to pop the rally. Now, there are a lot of ultimates coming onto the board for Siren. Here comes the Death Blossom. It's not going to find anything because of the reflect from Ani, but Ruck is going to be able to find 2 in this fight, and this is then 3, and this is going to be exactly what Siren need. They're going to be able to push this cart a little bit closer here. They get the pick there, and they need to stagger out Port here, and this might be able to be a cap, but if it is, they really need to find some success and value on this 3rd point push.
Now, they are going to have a lot of ultimates here. They have Nano Blade. They're going to have the Primal. Really only the Pulse Bomb and the Primal for coming up for, and forget the Primal, Port switches over to the Junker Queen, so only the Pulse Bomb really on behalf of SQUAK. They're switching to a much more counter dive composition now. As soon as Siren starts getting an advantage playing well, they immediately switch compositions and styles.
Yeah, immediately switch it up, forcing the other team to adapt as well if they want to find any success here. The pick onto Ruck is going to come through from Ani, switching over to that Reaper. The pressure from those shotguns is a little bit too much for the Monkey, and now Siren are on the back foot. And now, if you look at it, this Dragon Blade, this Nano Blade, is really what Siren is banking on, and Lexapro goes down. What a horrible stagger to happen here at the end of this fight, because now the win condition, it has to go back to spawn.
And now also we look, oh, big stick onto Layla there. Both support ultimates on behalf of SQUAK are going to be up this fight. So you have a Nano Blade, but you're going into a Kitsune Rush and a Coalescence. You're getting a lot of ultimates on your side. This is going to be last fight. You have to make sure you're using them, but you can't pop them all at the same time.
Can't pop them all at the same time. No panic needs to happen. Here comes the Blade. The Nano goes onto the Monkey and not the Blade here. Can they find any value? That's 1. That's 2. Both supports are down, but Lexapro's going to fall as well. The cart has to be touched here. Keetle's going to find 1, and that's going to be a good start for Siren here, but the fight isn't over yet. Port is staying alive. He almost has this Rampage up, and the respawns are going to be coming in from the side of SQUAK here. And this is exactly what you don't want from the side of SQUAK. They've got the Coalescence, they've got the Rampage, and they almost have a Death Blossom and a Pulse Bomb. There is so much that has to be mitigated from the side of Siren here. They have the ultimates to do it. It depends on if they can execute here. And now, here comes the Coalescence. The pick comes out. That's so good. 2 huge picks. The Bionade comes out, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. And Port finding some value here with that Rampage. That wasn't a Bionade. It was a Rampage. There's the Death Blossom. Pulse Bomb comes out from Pong, but it's not going to find anything. Siren doing their best to make sure they are not out of this map. And ladies and gentlemen, we have round 3 coming up here. Whew. What a last fight there, Toast.
Going down to the wire. Siren at the end there actually plays it very well. They stagger their ultimates out. You know, SQUAK uses a lot of ultimates early, but a lot of them don't have value. Siren doesn't panic, which is very easy to do under the mental stress that they probably have right now. They keep their calm, they stay collected, they use their ultimate slowly, and they don't panic react to anything that SQUAK's throwing at them. That was a really strong 3rd point coming out from Siren there.
Yeah, really strong point. And now the question is, when they came out on the Sigma to begin their attack on their first round, they ran into that dive from the side of SQUAK. And it looks like they aren't going to run into it this time. In fact, they're actually going to go with the Sigma, but instead of your classic snipers, there's a Swedish man over there.
Yeah, a bit of a short Swede entering the fray here. I'd imagine now that they've gotten Siren into this dive mirror, this is just them trying to mix up once again. We saw at third point, they tried to switch into an anti-dive style. It didn't quite work there. Changing it up a little bit now. They're keeping the Sigma for the poke. Torb works well with the poke as well. It's hard to dive literally anybody on this team. So I think this is an interesting mix-up, and I'm interested to see how Siren deals with this.
Lexapro might be a knife salesman in real life, but can their knife find the kills that they need here going up against that auto-locking turret? That is the question. And if you're Siren, you come out, you get to this corner, you see what they're playing. Do you just go back to spawn and switch?
It's easy to stay on it, especially when you start winning after losing the first 2 maps pretty badly. I think you should be switching it, but if SQUAK is going to keep giving you space like they did the first attack, might as well just stay on it.
Might as well just stay on it, and we're going to see what happens. The poke battle has commenced, obviously. The side of SQUAK with those poke heroes a little bit more lethal here. Oh, and this is a Sojourn battle. Battle of the thighs, as one might say, but now both of them back off. Ani's going to find the kill onto Lexapro, and I would imagine that we see a swap for them coming back into this fight here, but one can only imagine. It looks like they're going to stay on the Genji for now. They really want to invest heavily into this blade here, but as I say that, Sapphire's going to go down. There's only seconds left on the clock. Nothing left. It's overtime now. They are going to find 2 picks. This might open it up, but this is scrappy. Ruck is going to find the last remaining support. Pong on 1 HP, and now it's just Port. So if you're on the side of Siren, this ended up working out for you. But how far can you take it?
I think Circuit's a map where if you're pushing in overtime, it's really easy on the defense to get boomed, as we are actually going to see a Pharah swap coming from Pong here. Big support ults coming out for Siren. These are going to be the keys to their victory if they are going to get it.
Now, this is going to be the keys to victory, and Pong doing his best Yinza impression. Can they find the picks that they need here? That is the real question. They're just going to be shooting down from the sky, looking down like an ever-looming satellite. They're trying to get Keto. Oh, they barely get away. That is fantastic peel there. The rally is going to come out, maybe survive a little bit more of that splash damage coming from Pong, but as we talk about that, Ani falls low, but finds Lila. Lexapro's gonna even that out, and here comes the blade from Lexapro. They miss the Mercy, though. The dash is gone. They can't find anybody else right now, and now that ultimate is gone. Sapphire is gone. Ruck gets a kill, though. In the meantime, that Mercy's won. They finally finish it off. Oh, the Flux! Oh, no! It's the Sig-9! Oh, no!
What a brutal way to end your push. Things looking up for you. As we've talked about in the past, when fights get messy, typically goes the way of the dive. It was getting really messy there, and we started seeing Siren get more and more picks. It looked like they were picking up more and more momentum, but the Flux just lifting everyone off cart, and that's going to forcibly end the round, whether or not you're winning the fight or not.
Whether you're winning that fight or not, as soon as you're lifted up into the air, gravity doesn't care until Sigma slams you back down, and that cart needs someone there, unfortunately. Can't win a race without a driver. And so now, if you're on the side of Siren here, you have to be ready to hold this first little stretch, this first little pathway before you come to that curve there, because if it gets past that curve, I'm not sure that they'll be able to handle what is about to come their way in the Pharah of Pong.
Now, 3 minutes, that's what Siren has to hold on their defense. They got it past first point. They got it part of the way into second point. If they can hold this high ground at first point, they have a really good chance of actually winning this map. The downside is they're playing a Cassidy. The range doesn't benefit that. And you really don't have that much poke coming out for Sirens. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to hold this first point.
They're going to have to be very aggressive, make sure that they're not allowing SQUAK to take any space away from them. They need to be ready to jump, ready to engage, ready to execute. That's really what it boils down to. And we can already see the spam damage from Ani, from the low ground, the spam damage from Pong from up high. They don't really know where to go. Siren is scrambling a little bit, and as they scramble, this cart just continues to progress and progress. And on the side of Siren, they need to make something happen. And in the meantime, Ani says, you need something to happen? Well, too bad. Your Sojourn's gone. I'm going to make it happen right now. The Ana's going to fall as well. If you're on the side of Siren, you need to die. You need to regroup. There is one fight left here.
Yeah, you're able to get this fight out. You can hold this high ground here. If Layla dies here, it could be bad. It gets away with her life. Now you're going to be switching onto the Diva here for Rocket Attic. I'm not a huge fan of this. We've talked about it before. Full comp switch almost for Siren, as first point is going to be capped.
Yeah, a lot of respect being paid towards Pong on this Pharah, and everything switching up to ensure that they're able to have some type of answer for it. Now, if that answer is correct or not, we're going to have to find out. Teacher's going to grade the test, and at the end, we're going to see if they pass or fail. And right now, they are progressing ever so closely to that golden box of victory. And if you're on the side of Siren, you need to get there. You need to contest, and that's going to be on Ruck Attack, who's falling dangerously low. His supports aren't near him right now. They're trying to keep up the DPS. Ruck is going to fall. That's the mech gone. The tank presence is gone. The barrage comes out. It's going to find two. Give it a third for Adi, and that is going to be the map. SQUAK is going to take Circuit Royale in the closest map today, and what a performance from SQUAK.
A really strong performance from SQUAK, especially Ani, as we've talked about a few times. And also, Port really can't be understated either. When Port was on the Monkey, absolutely taking over a lot of the game. Even though I said that they were feeding before, they were playing quite well. They did what they needed to for the team, and they took over when given the opportunity here. But I would like to just spend a second. Siren, unfortunate loss, especially considering the Sig-9, but amazing third map performance coming out from them, especially coming off 2 map losses. It can be really easy to get boomed mentally. So the fact that they stuck with it and actually brought it to SQUAK, made it a really close map, is very impressive.
Yeah, the scoreline might be a little bit deceiving. That last map was extremely close, could have gone either way, but a fantastic match from both of the teams. And unfortunately, that's our only match today that we're going to be casting. But as a reminder, this tournament, there's a fundraising goal with the Attic Youth Center. As a reminder, it's an LGBTQ, my whole brain just died, organization that is there to help LGBTQ youth find healthy, independent, safe, supportive community to grow into healthy adults. So if you want to go ahead, learn a little bit more about it, the exclamation point, the command in chat is going to be exclamation point OK2BU. If you want to donate, that would be fantastic. We would love any support that you can give to these individuals. But going forward, make sure you keep an eye out, hit that notification bell so you know when we're going to go live for all of these maps. And what are your final thoughts here, Toast?
Unfortunate this is the only series we're going to be casting today, as there was a bit of a scheduling conflict the earlier match. But as always, it's a pleasure to cast with you. Thank you so much to everyone who came out, whether it was playing, producing, or watching the stream. It's greatly appreciated. I can't wait to be working with everybody once again.
Yeah, thank you guys so much, and we will catch you on the next match. See you guys then.